Oh my goodness. Good morning, everybody. It's Soul 11 here. Okay, that was weird. If I don't do my regular intro, it's simply put, it's just weird. How's it going, everybody? It's Soul 11 here, and welcome to SoulPod, my morning podcast thing, which it's morning for me. It might also be morning when I upload these up on YouTube. Currently, it's Tuesday, October 30th, 2018, and more than likely, I'm not actually uploading this on Halloween. I'm probably not uploading this the day after I'm recording it. So a few things. Audio quality is probably very different. I'm not using my phone. I'm not using my A7S. I'm not using the Rode Video mic. I'm not using the AT2020 or the AT4040. I'm using that Sony ICD UX560, I believe is what it's called. Pretty much that pocket recorder. I'm in my car, so there's a chance that you'll hear the car's engine. Not that it's like a loud engine by any means, but yeah, pretty much. I'm driving right now. I'm going to school to avoid traffic. It's 5:02 a.m. I'm leaving roughly 10 minutes later than I normally would. And that's because I decided to take a shower this morning since I didn't take a shower the night before. Usually I'm actually the kind of person who takes a shower at night and at morning, but given that if I'm taking my shower at like 9-10 p.m. at night, I don't want to take a shower again at 4:30 a.m. because that's way too close. Whereas if I'm waking up at, let's say, 8 a.m. and I'm taking my shower at 10 p.m. at night, I wouldn't mind taking that morning shower, because that's much later than, waking up when the sun isn't even up. Speaking about the sun, in about a week, I believe, or possibly this weekend, daylight savings time is going to revert. So that's cool, I guess. We're all going to get an extra hour of sleep, which is nice. And then, of course, the sun will be setting much sooner than it normally does. Days will be daylight. Time with daylight will be shorter. Not that the days are actually going to be shorter. The days are actually longer near winter, if I recall correctly. I've never actually officially learned this. This is pretty much a common sense thing, but I've never been good with that type of common sense. So yeah, this drive is going to take roughly 30 minutes. Of course, it could take more with traffic and if I take back roads here and there. So yeah, we're just going to have a nice little chit chat. I hope the audio quality isn't terrible. The benefit of having a Tesla, which I don't have, would be that you wouldn't hear any engine noise. The only thing you could possibly hear is some wind noise and whatnot. And I mean, I don't really know how bad that would be on the freeway. I didn't actually drive, or test drive, I should more specifically say, the Performance Model 3 on the freeway. And I do kind of want to go back and talk about that experience, because pretty much in about a week or so, I get the feeling that I'm going to completely forget about that experience, because that's what happens. I mean, it was really awesome, but to what extent was it a really awesome test drive? And I don't really know what else there is to say, because I said quite a bit actually back when I made that little chat. I wouldn't even call it a little chat, because it was on White Loops. It was a pretty long video that I ended up making. Oh, and we have hit traffic so soon in the drive. I should have checked GPS to see if I should have taken the back roads. Now I'm kind of stuck for like 3-4 miles. That's unfortunate. Oh, I should probably turn off the background music. Not that you guys can hear it or anything, but yeah. I guess I'm not going to talk about Tesla right now, or maybe I will in a little bit. I want to, before I even start the topic, I want to change the topic. I want to quickly talk about Google Pixel 3, iPhone XS/XS Max, and what's the phone that was announced yesterday? Oh, actually, the iPads are being announced today. I almost completely forgot about that. That's exciting. I'm actually very excited about that. And if the pre-orders or whatever open today, or if they're available like tomorrow in store, then well, I'm getting one tomorrow in store because I've been looking forward towards a bezel-less iPad for a while. Oh, the other phone is the OnePlus 6T, which, my God, it looks beautiful. That notch is so much better than what Apple came out with. Personally, I still prefer Apple's notch to like the Essential phone. I know the Essential phone is pretty much like also a tiny notch, but even the Google Pixel 3 XL, I would choose that notch, even though that notch is fucking huge. I understand that. Like, it's not a very nice looking display. I mean, like, I would most likely choose the regular Google Pixel if I had to choose between like the regular one and the XL, but you know, that's not the... Oh my God, there is a police officer slowing us all down. It's 5 a.m. Leave us be. Oh my God. And we're losing our 4 lanes. It looks like it might be turning into 2 lanes. I really wish I went the back roads, because I could be going like 60, 70 miles per hour over on the back roads. But right now I'm stuck going 5 miles per hour over here. That's quite unfortunate. At least I'm distracting myself this time around with something more than just music, because music kind of, like, music is enjoyable and all, but it's not always enough to keep yourself distracted from how crappy it is to drive. And I believe during my little chat, I was saying that, oh, I shouldn't do these podcasts in the car because the podcast is just going to end up being about, like, my drive and whatnot. Hey, we haven't seen any crappy drivers yet cut me off. I'm surrounding myself with trucks right now, so there's that. And the longer this drive is, the more likely I'm going to burn my ass with these heated seats. Because for some reason when I just wait... Okay, we're not even moving right now. We've been stuck for a solid like 30, 40 seconds now. Oh. Anyways, let's talk about the phones. So I got an iPhone 10 last November 4th. Pretty much, you know, the day that iPhone 10 was announced? No. Available to pick up, I believe. I actually don't remember. Was it November 4th that I ordered it, and then I got it November 11th? Or did I order the week before November 4th, and then I got it November 4th? I actually don't remember, but pretty much, let's just say I got the phone November 4th. I liked it. It was super fast. I had the iPhone 7 before that. The wireless charging with the iPhone 10 was like my absolute favorite. That was cool and whatnot. And I ended up getting like a total of maybe 5 or 6 wireless chargers throughout the entire throughout the end of 2017 and all of 2018. And then when the iPhone XS and XS Max and the Apple Watch Series 4 was announced, I was really disappointed, at least, not with the Apple Watch. The Apple Watch is very gorgeous and whatnot. But I was really sad that they were like, oh, it's a 10% improvement. It's actually more than a 10% improvement. Plus, they have the new phone, the bigger phone, the XS Max, which by this point I actually am used to that name. That name was very ridiculous. Like 2 months ago, when we were hearing it for the first time, or I guess a month and a half ago. But and now we're moving, so considerably fast, 23 miles per hour. So, it was, I wasn't planning on actually upgrading my phone this year, because, for one, the phones are quite expensive, to upgrade. I mean, like, the XS Max that I got was, $14.50 before tax, I believe. I don't know, it's the 512 gigabyte. I pretty much ended up getting the top of the line model for the XS Max, because I like downloading my shows onto my phone, so I just have them. Why are we moving like at a regular speed? I'm okay with that. I just don't understand why we were all like stopped. It was probably an accident and they were cleaning it up, and then they all disappeared oh so quickly. Interesting. Always interesting to me. Always a fun time. So yeah, I ended up picking up the iPhone XS Max. When I was in store and I was holding one, it was an absolutely enormous phone, and it actually hurt my hand to hold it. But then when I actually got one and I picked up a silicone case as well, the phone felt absolutely fine to me, and that was when the regular iPhone X felt like an absolutely tiny phone to hold in my hands. Plus, given the bigger size of the XS Max, for me at least, since I have relatively large hands, typing on my phone / texting, I ended up making a lot less errors. So that was nice. I began enjoying that quite a bit. Don't cut me off. But then the Google Pixel 3 was announced like about a month later in October. And the Google Pixel 3 XL at least had that very big notch. Of course, I prefer that iPhone notch over the 3 since the vertical height is not as large. I don't know why Google ended up doing that. Maybe they were trying to be different. It's not that much different other than there's this enormous height gap. Not gap. There's just this enormous height on the phone that is completely uncalled for, man. And I wanted to actually get the Google Pixel 3 and try it out. I didn't end up doing that. I might end up doing that with the OnePlus 6T, because that phone looks really nice, and I might just actually keep that if I end up grabbing one of those. And you might be thinking, so what, am I going to be done with the XS Max? Well, no, I actually want to try out an Android for once in like a very long time, because Android wasn't very good like 7-ish years ago, at least in my opinion. Like it doesn't matter. I don't want to really I'm not saying Apple is better than Android like entirely. For my purposes it is, because I don't do anything on my phone other than I play this game called Egg Inc. and then I watch YouTube. I don't even watch Netflix or Crunchyroll on my on my phone anymore. I don't even watch Netflix or Crunchyroll at all, actually. Since I pretty much just buy my TV shows off of the iTunes store now. I have absolutely nothing left on these streaming TV websites that there's left for me, and I end up buying my movies too. So like the Avengers movies, Star Wars. That's actually about it. And then there are some movies here and there that I just pick up. So there's that. And yeah. So I might end up picking up a OnePlus 6T and try that out for an entire year. But oh boy, we're coming to a stop. Why are we coming to a stop? These people, they slow down way too much on the freeway. We're in the left lane, and we just went from 70 to 45, and now we're back up to 65. For absolutely no reason other than the person in front wanted to slow down, or like the person a few cars down wanted to slow down that much. And now it's like 5:17 a.m. and we should like almost be at school, but we're not even close, baby. My god, my throat is like is dying. Can you guys I apologize, give me 1 second so I can drink some water, because I'm actually gonna die right now. Okay, I'm not sure why, but my throat, like, actually really hurts every time I swallow. I don't know what I fucking did to cause that, because I was fine this morning, relatively, but now it's like I'm getting sick again. I was sick 2 weeks ago, actually, for pretty much the entire school week. I skipped 2 days of school, and that was fun. I guess I got a 4-day long weekend, except for the fact that I was sick for the last 2 days. That's why I skipped those days. I wasn't even sick. I haven't been sick since January. Actually, January, when I was sick very, very surprisingly, from January 1st at 12:30 a.m., so pretty much 30 minutes after New Year's. You know, the whole New Year's shebang, whatever. And I stopped being sick February 1st. I was sick the entire month of January. That was like a first for me to be sick for that long. It was very weird. I just would not get better. Of course, half of that time was spent at home because the first half of January was winter break still for me. And, I mean, the second half, I obviously had to go to school. I think I missed a day here or there, but on, like, not that many days, because I couldn't really afford to do that. But, I mean, you know, it is what it is. It is what it was. And so, yeah, to pretty much wrap up the phone topic, I'm keeping my XS Max because for me, the user experience with an iPhone is simple. I don't require the customizability. When Apple comes out with, Apple may not always be first to some things. Apple is first to many things, but it's also not to another many things. For instance, wireless charging. But for some other features, when Apple does come out with it after other companies come out with it. Apple generally does it better. It may not always be first to do it, but it does do it better. For instance, Apple did not have 4K video recording first, but after it came out with 4K video recording, it did do it better than some other competitors. Oh Jesus, I am itchy, and one of my hands is pretty much occupied holding this recorder, so it's so difficult driving like this. Like, if I get itchy, I have to use I can't use the hand holding the recorder, because then you guys will just hear me itch. And the more I talk about itching, the more itchy I actually end up getting. Surprise, surprise. That's how life works. So, yeah, I'll use the OnePlus 6T. Eventually, I'll pick one of those up, and I'll use it in tandem with the XS Max, so that I don't kill myself over disliking the OnePlus 6T, which I don't think I will. I mean, the main reason I want to try it is I just want to have the power of that battery that the OnePlus 6T does, in that it charges so quickly. Like, it is super fast relative to the iPhone. Plus, it comes with the I could be wrong. Is it called the Dash charger? I don't know, but it's the super fast USB-C charger. Actually, the OnePlus 6T doesn't even have wireless charging, which, I mean, that's fine given that the wired charging is as fast as it is. But I still prefer wireless charging over wired charging. The only time I end up using wired charging, there's two scenarios. One, I want to charge my phone super quickly, so I'll use the USB-C to Lightning charger, either on my portable battery or, with one of my wall plugs. I have a bunch of USB-C wall plugs lying around. Or two, I use one of my portable batteries. So I have like a 6700 milliamp hour portable battery, which is the smallest portable battery I have, in which sometimes I use it to get my phone from like roughly 25-ish% to around 55, 60, maybe even 70%. At the very most 80. I don't usually ever go from whatever to full, because for one, if I'm like topping up, I don't want to say topping up, because I'm pretty sure topping up means making full. If I'm using my portable battery, the reason is not to fully charge my phone. The reason is to have enough juice for the rest of the day. Because if I end up going to 100%, then by the end of the day, I'm probably only going to have my phone go down to 80%, maybe 70 at the most. And I don't generally need that. Because if I do that, then I don't want to charge my phone that night. I would just let my phone idle overnight and then just continue using it the next day. And it's actually really rare that my phone goes that low, or that I actually end up using my portable battery. And I have like 6-7 portable batteries. With me, though, at all times, I have two. I have my very large 26,800 milliamp hour battery, which is actually meant for either my iPad or my MacBook Pro, because it has the power delivery USB-C charging that I can use. And I carry my USB-C Lightning and a USB-C to USB-C cable with me at all times for that. And then I have my 6,700 milliamp hour battery, which offers 10 watts only, which that's not slow, but I mean, you can get 12 watts as well with the iPhones, at least with USB-A. And that's just for like adding 30 to maybe 60% charge to my phone, just so it can last a bit longer. So then, like, at the very latest at night, I can, charge up my phone overnight and not feel bad. There's nothing wrong with doing it overnight, even if your phone's at like 90, 80%, because it's a lithium ion battery, not a cadmium nickel or nickel cadmium, whatever the old school batteries are. I'm not actually sure, because I didn't even know what they were called until about 2 years ago, and even then it doesn't matter. I don't use those batteries. That's completely beyond me. Now, if you guys will give me one moment, I need to focus as I make 5 lane changes right now. That's 3, that's 4, and that is 5, my dudes. That is how it goes. Actually, that traffic didn't even like slow me down. And if it did, I don't think I really noticed, because I'm really mellowed out when I do my commentaries. And surprisingly awake. My throat really hurts for some reason. I should have probably made myself a coffee this morning. Not for the reason of keeping me awake, because coffee doesn't actually like really do that, or caffeine, I should say, doesn't really do that for me. Not that it makes me sleepy by any means. It does actually mellow me out in the sense that I come off of the caffeine high, if you want to call it that, pretty quickly. Oh, I'm gonna miss that green light. God damn it! I'm gonna be here for a while. I come off of that caffeine high, the excitement, very quickly. Like, I'm talking 15, 20 minutes, 30 at the most. Oh, never mind. I don't have to wait for that green light that long. I'm gonna get a green light right now. That's a first. This traffic light always hates me at this time of morning. What was I talking about? Another red light. What are the odds? It is me we're talking about, so I do hit every red light. Every person thinks they always hit a red light, but for me, it's real. But we are gonna get a green light right now, so it's fine. I didn't even get to fully stop my car. I forgot what I was talking about. Green light, red light? No, that was before that. OnePlus 6T, Google Pixel. But charging, batteries, yes. I love batteries. I love charging. That's why I want a Tesla. I can charge my car. That's like the ultimate high for me. If I get off of wirelessly charging my phones, imagine what I would get off of from wirelessly charging my laptop, or even more so, wirelessly charging a car. And eventually, I believe actually, Tesla are supposed to come out with a wireless charging mat to put underneath the car to wirelessly charge the car. I mean, I imagine that's going to be super slow and impractical. I mean, given that the 110 volt charger gives the car roughly 3 miles of range back per hour, 3 to 4 at least. I imagine the wireless charging mat for the car wouldn't be that much faster, since I mean, like, wireless charging even for phones is like, it's not very good. Even fast wireless charging isn't very good, at least compared to wired charging. I mean, sure, it's better than 5-watt wired charging, but not by like much. At least I don't think. Okay, these two people are blocking they're going so slowly. They have the entire street blocked, and they're going 20 miles per hour under, mind you, the speed limit. And that's And that's always annoying. But now there's an opening, and I shall take my opening. Thank you, and good night. Or good morning, rather. So yeah, that's my little thing about portable batteries. The other major portable batteries I have are at home, the ones I use frequently. I have two 10,000 milliamp hour batteries, both with Qualcomm 3.0 quick charge. So that's nice. You get 18 watts out there, but I don't think the iPhone takes 18 watts, at least not with USB-A. I know Samsung and other Android phones do with a USB-A to USB-C, but a Lightning USB-A connector does not do that for whatever unfortunate reason. Wow, I was pretty efficient today. I've been driving very inefficiently lately, and on purpose, mind you. Like, let me see. What is my fuel economy? 35 miles per gallon. For driving passively, not paying attention, that's pretty good for me, because I usually land around 26 to 27 miles per gallon. And my total average right now is 22.5. And mind you, this is a Mazda 3, which is supposed to get roughly, I want to say 37? And that's if you're driving like 65 miles per hour on the freeway and just not accelerating like how I'm about to on this red light when it turns green. I'm gonna absolutely book it, and that should be fun. Here we go. The car next to me was like ready, absolutely ready for me. Oh, can I make that before it turns yellow? Yes, I can. Haha. And I absolutely just killed my miles per gallon efficiency. And I just had to turn off my little, whoa, let's come to a stop. Let's come to a stop. The Model 3 brakes have spoiled me for the 15-20 minutes, if it was even that long, that I drove that car. I was definitely spoiled. I actually did not even time how long I got to drive that car. And by time, I mean I didn't look at the time I started to drive and then the time I ended to drive to just realize how long it was that I drove. That was such a fun drive. I'm still so excited over that. My plan for today was this, guys, for this podcast. So pretty much, hold on. Sorry, I wanted to click something to see how long I've been recording. 34 minutes and 15 seconds. Of course, that's a little bit shorter since I actually started the recording about, I want to say like 20, 30, maybe 40 seconds prior to actually beginning to talk. Oh my god, I lost my train of thought. That was so fast. The hell was I talking about? Oh my god, something about Tesla. Probably, it's always something about Tesla. Efficiency, it was a fun drive. I didn't time it. Oh, the podcast, right. See, I can always eventually get to what I wanted to. Oh, I don't need to do that. I can just go straight. I'm almost at school. So my plan for this podcast was pretty much start recording as I leave home early in the morning, and then kind of put a pause when I end up getting to school, and then continue the podcast, or kind of do a part 2 rather to the podcast on my way back from school, because the traffic is going to be a little bit worse. So I would definitely be hitting a podcast length, given that the video would be like maybe an hour, 15 minutes long. But I'm thinking, instead of stopping the recording, since I'm pretty much going to be parking my car in about 2 minutes, instead I'm actually going to continue talking. I just have to, of course, park my car, which I can't always do so well with one hand. I can if I'm reverse parking, but I don't like reverse parking early in the mornings because I end up staying in my car. So that causes me to like be facing outwards, and my windows are tinted, but the only windows that aren't tinted are my front windows. So I like staying hidden in my car, if that makes sense. I don't feel comfortable with every person who ends up getting here early in the morning to end up seeing me in my car. And my typical parking spot is still available, which makes it super easy for me to actually park going head first. And there we go. All the way front. There we go. Another cool thing I found about the Tesla. Whoa. Oh, I didn't put the parking brake, that's why. Another cool thing I found about the Tesla Model 3 was that as I was like approaching a wall, or like, let's say I was parallel parked, okay? Because that's when I actually started to drive. I was coming out of a parallel park. As I was backing up, the car would tell me how many inches until I hit the car behind me, which I found that to be super useful, and possibly the same thing when I was going forward, but I don't know, when I backed up, and then I started going forward, I actually just left the parking spot. You might hear a noise right now. I'm putting my seat back so I can be more relaxed. I'm not turning off my car right now. I have 255 miles of range left. It's 5:38 in the morning. This entire drive was 34.3 miles per gallon, making my total average since October 18th or so, 22.5 miles per gallon. I got this Mazda 3 October 8th of 2016. This is a brand new 2017, or it was brand new. But I mean, still a 2017 car is still pretty brand new. I got this pretty much like the moment it came out, like a few weeks after. And when I picked up this car, you know how like there's always like some miles driven on the car, like it could be very few. Pretty much this car, I picked it up with 3 miles driven on it. And I was told like this is pretty much like almost the absolute minimum that the car could drive, because the people who, Mazda, who made this car, they actually have to test drive the car. And then, of course, there's like driving the car onto the truck that delivers the car, driving the car around the dealership, to clean the car, to take it from the cleaning area to maintain, like, I don't know, make sure the engine's fine, this and that is fine, everything is fine. Excuse me. Oh my goodness, I'm sorry guys, didn't mean to yawn. I am very tired. I hope you understand that. I don't get that many hours of sleep on these nights the nights that I end up going to school. Given that I sleep around 10, 11 p.m. and I wake up at 4:30. It used to be worse, actually. Ever since I started taking melatonin, I've been able to get 5, very rarely 6 hours of sleep. But it used to be me getting like 3.5, 4 hours every night. And I survived like that for 2 years pretty much. Because I could not fall asleep earlier than midnight, even if I tried. Let me make the AC a little cooler. because I just normally would sleep at like 2 a.m., 3 a.m. Of course, that would have been impossible for me to do on the nights I had school, given that, for one, if I slept at 2 a.m., I'd only get 2.5 hours of sleep. And two, I would die after a while. That's just too little amount of sleep to be having consistently for 2 years. I mean, the only way I could do that is if I didn't have school or work to deal with. But oh well, I unfortunately have that stuff to deal with. So, sucks to suck. Am I right? God, guys, I just wanna get the Model 3 right now. And the only thing holding me back is the fact that I got this Mazda 3 just a teeny tiny little bit over 2 years ago. I mean, it's still October as I'm making this podcast. So if I end up getting the Model 3 right now, then I would have pretty much bought a brand new car and only used it for 2 years. Now I'm aware there are people that like end up buying cars every like 6 months. I know those people are super rare, but then there's like the people who get a car every single year, just like how they can replace their phone every year. Of course, if you can replace your car every year, then you can probably replace your phone every year. But just because you replace your car every year probably doesn't mean you replace your phone every year. The reason I say that is, if you're replacing your car every year, it's probably because you're a car enthusiast, meaning you like cars. That doesn't necessarily mean you're gonna be a tech enthusiast. You might be fine having, I don't know, the iPhone 6 or whatever. You might still be happy with that. I know my friend Eric still has the 5S, and that thing is working well for him. Unfortunately, I think Apple's gonna stop supporting that phone after iOS 12. There's no iOS 13 for that phone, so oh well. I also really like the 5S, but even more than the 5S, I liked the 4S when I ended up getting that. My 5S got destroyed, unfortunately, but I really liked my 5S. I did not like my 6 at all. I did not like it when I got it. I thought the 6 was very ugly. And even though the 7 is like the same body as the 6, the 6, it had the color space gray, and that's the one I got, because the white models have the white bezels in the front, or the white chin and forehead, I guess. And I didn't like that on a phone, because that's what I had for my 5S. I had the white 5S. I actually have an unboxing of the 5S on my channel, believe it or not. Of course, not one for it was the only white phone I ended up getting. Actually, when I picked up my XS Max, I had it in white. I used it for a bit, then I returned it, and then I got the space gray. And of course, that's a different situation, because the front bezels, as thin as they are black, regardless of the color of the phone you get. If you get gold, if you get space gray, yeah, that's what it's called. It's still called space gray. Or if you get white, or I guess silver, it's going to be black bezels in the front. Thin black bezels, mind you, but still. Which I'm fine with, but and as nice as the silver looked, since I had the deep blue case, or whatever it's called, the silicone case on my XS Max, I didn't like the silver camera outline and the stainless steel that goes around the phone. I wasn't a fan of that. I preferred the space gray, just because that's what I had for the past year, and change is sometimes hard. I tried going along with it. It didn't work out. I would have tried the gold, but when I actually saw the gold in person, I didn't like it. I liked it a lot in videos, which is weird, because usually you end up, not you guys, but some people, end up liking things more in person than like in a picture or a video. For this case, it was the opposite for me. Oh, excuse me. The one thing I do want to see regarding Tesla, I know I keep jumping back and forth between topics, and actually, I'm gonna wrap up the podcast here, or at least the part one. I'll continue later tonight, or I might not. I don't know. It depends what kind of mood I'm in. The one thing I do want to see, I do want to test drive the car again, the Model 3 Performance, because I want to drive it on the freeway, and at Santa Monica you can't do that. I will be doing that at some other dealership, showroom, later. I want to wait a while. I don't want to overhype myself right now because I'm already very, very hyped. And if I get myself even more hyped, I'm going to lose control and just end up buying the car immediately after my second test drive. And I'd rather wait at the very least a couple months or something. I'm pretty much waiting for, at the very least, to get the car after I apply for med school. I don't want to end up doing anything before that, because I feel like if I do anything before that, any amount of free time I have is going to be spent driving that car. I used to love driving back when I drove the Mazda Miata, because driving a convertible is very fun. Driving a small car is very fun. Top down, wind goes through your hair, whatnot. It's not a fast car, but it is a very light car, making it semi-decently fast. Still not as fast as a Model 3, but still. After the Miata, actually before the Miata, let me backtrack, okay? And then I'm gonna wrap this up. This might take a while, mind you. This might take 20 minutes. This might take 5 minutes. It's probably not gonna take 5 minutes, but this could take over 20 minutes long. So please bear with me here. The very first car I got was a Mercedes CLK 430 from the year 1999 in a wine red color. And that car cost me $900. It was the first car I got. Of course, it was used. It had, I believe, 43,000 miles on it, maybe 50. I don't know. The number 43 really sticks with me in that car, because it's a CLK 430 4.3 liter engine car. But for some reason, I specifically remember the car having 43,000 miles, of course, some 100 miles on it, give or take. But I remember 43 for the odometer. For some reason, it was in there. And I know the car right now has 70,000 miles, so it would make sense that the car was roughly around 40,000 miles back when I was 15 years old. And I'm 21 now, so there's that. So back when I was 15 years old, for those of you wondering if I had any income, I actually did. I had income since I was 14. I was a tutor. I would tutor AP exams, including chemistry, calculus. I didn't tutor physics at the time, since I didn't know any physics. I didn't learn physics until I was 16, but then after that I threw physics in as something I would tutor. And I made pretty good money tutoring, at least in my first 2 years of high school. I charged $50 an hour, and then after that I would charge $100 an hour. Up until very recently, where now I charge 2.5 times more than that. But I am tutoring something completely different, and I'll get to that in a second, okay? Let me talk about tutoring first, and then I'll talk about the cars. I always have to. There's always more backstory to everything. So, the other thing I would tutor is whatever classes, everyone had. My rate for that was $35, just depending on how well I knew something. If I was not very good at it, and mind you, not very good means an A, versus good means A+. Okay, I was very good at high school, because high school came very naturally and very easy to me, to the point that I never really had to study, unless it was a history class, in which case it's not that I had to study, It's just that I had to take notes because that's how I would learn history, because I didn't know history to the detail that an AP exam, at least, wanted me to know. There was no way I could have just, like, picked that up. Whereas math and chemistry, that stuff just came a lot more naturally and quickly to me. Probably because my dad taught me that stuff starting from the time I was like 2 years old. At least that was math. He didn't teach me chemistry when I was 2. I don't think I would have understood it then. Math, though, I picked it up no problem. And then chemistry, I think I started learning when I was around 5 or 6 years old. I never learned physics that young. I never learned biology that young. I really wish I did, because I have a profound hatred for biology. Even though now I understand it pretty well, I still don't have a mind that thinks biologically. In terms of the subject, of course, it does work biologically. It can't not work biologically. Rather, it works biochemically. But yeah, I've always been a chemistry, physics, math person. Hell, my history was at one point better than my biology. Now, of course, it's not. Not that it's bad now, but now my biology is pretty damn good because of my MCAT, at least. Anyway, so then I started tutoring SAT, and now I'm tutoring, and also SAT subject. Now I don't do that anymore. I don't tutor SAT, I don't tutor AP, I don't tutor SAT subject, because when I was up until, from the time I was 15, like late 15, early 16, I started charging $100 an hour, up until, it's October right now, so I guess a month and a half ago, pretty much September, where I started tutoring MCAT. And with that, I can charge a lot more because I did very well on my MCAT. I got a 527 on my MCAT. So that just kind of works out for me. I mean, when you score 100th percentile, people will, like, pay you whatever it takes for you to explain stuff to them. And the thing is, I'm not like every other tutor to have ever existed. I actually explain things with very nice analogies, I might add. At least like 95% of topics. There are some topics where it is difficult for me to explain, because some things I personally just don't understand them as well as I understand most other things. And sometimes you just gotta hope that some things don't show up on the test, and more than likely they actually won't, believe it or not. But I mean, eventually, like, I do actually come up with an analogy for that other 5%. It's just, it takes me like maybe 2 minutes longer than like the instant 10 seconds it takes me to come up with an analogy for other things. Because I mean, some things I'll have an analogy ready, in which case it'll take me 0 seconds to explain that analogy or come up with that analogy, since I already have the analogy picked out. Some other things that I understand very well, but I've never thought of an analogy for, since I never had to explain it to myself in a different way. It takes me about 10 seconds to come up with something, because I'm able to make those neuronal connections very quickly, since I understand that topic very well. And then some other things, it'll take me a couple minutes at the most to figure something out to explain it. And then sometimes I actually just can't come up with anything because I'm too tired, and I'll just be like, hey, I'll tell you next time, or I'll send you a text later. And that is why I charge $250 an hour for MCAT tutoring. And I get results, of course. Like, on practice tests, my students already are improving. And this is private tutoring, mind you. I don't work out of the Princeton Review, Kaplan, or any other of those testing facilities. Those tutors are ass. I used the Princeton Review. They have garbage teachers. There was one good teacher, and he taught physics. But the biology, the chemistry, especially the organic chemistry. Mind you, my organic chemistry is flawless. So, like, this is something I can brag about, of course. I mean, for one, it is my business. So, like, I would be an idiot not to. But some people would be like, put your money where your mouth is. I very confidently can. Like, I haven't had a student on one of these standardized tests do poorly. I had a student who will name nameless, of course, because privacy. I mean, I could ask that person, and this was like something from when I was 15, actually, when I was tutoring SAT, who had an initial SAT score of 970, and then after, I want to say, I don't know if it was 14 or 15 practice tests. Like 15 is such a nicer number than 14, but it might have been 14. Maybe it was 15, including that initial test, because I never count that initial test. It might have been 15. Let's say 15. After 15 practice exams, the official test, this student ended up getting a 2350, which I don't know what percentile that is. I don't remember what the SAT percentiles are, because I've completely focused on the MCAT in more recent times. Even while I was tutoring SAT, I was focused on MCAT for myself. So percentile. Also, the SAT changed now, and so it's been a while since the score has been out of 2400. Now it's been out of 1600. So I don't even know, but 2350 is 50 points from a perfect. At least back then it was, because it was out of 2400. So it's like 97, 98, 99, 100 percentile. It doesn't matter at that point up there when you're scoring over a 2300. It's all the same. You're missing 1 or 2 questions, 3 at the very most. So yeah, put your money where your mouth is. I'm very capable of doing that. Anyways, from when I was around 15 years old, when I was 14 years old, I started saving this money that I would make. Every now and then I would take some money out and buy a game here or there, for my consoles, whatnot. And then I decided, like, putting a lot of the money away to save to buy a car. I realized my first car was not going to be good because it's a first car. But I said, why? Why can't my first car be good? Anyways, it didn't take me long to save up $900. And of course, I had a lot more than $900 saved up when I ended up buying my first car. But my first car wasn't like from it wasn't from a car dealership. I didn't get the car, I didn't buy it used. In fact, I didn't even buy it with the engine working properly. I bought the car from a junkyard. Those car junkyards, pretty much. $900 plus $2,100 to repair the car for a grand total of $3,000. That was my first car. It's not a Mercedes with an AMG engine, mind you, but it is still a CLK 430 from 1999 with a very bad air conditioning system, mind you, and an even worse heating system. No heated seats as well, mind you, if that's something that intrigues anyone. It didn't have CDs or cassette, I don't know. I ended up getting something that allowed for Bluetooth eventually. It didn't have aux. I don't know. I think it just had radio when I got the car. I don't recall it having a spot for CDs. Maybe it did have cassette slot. It should have. I don't remember. But anyways, $3,000 for my first car. That was nice. It was a fast car. It did 0 to 60 in what felt like under 5 seconds. The engine, I mean, it's a V8, okay? It is a heavy car, mind you. So it is a 2-door car as well, so it is a coupe. And I liked it. I loved it, actually. It went really fast. My dad's car was a Mazda Miata, a 2007 Mazda Miata. And when I ended up, by the way, when I bought the car, my dad was with me and he drove it back home after all the repairs, given that I didn't even have my license when I bought the car. I was like, when I get my license, this is gonna be my car. Surprisingly, when I actually ended up getting my license, by that time, my dad and I had made a deal, since my dad actually really ended up liking the Mercedes, and I ended up really liking the Mazda Miata, given that I ended up just liking smaller cars. Plus, it was a convertible. I just liked that. So we ended up trading the cars, which was a very good deal for me, because his car was roughly, at least when he bought it brand new, $25,000-ish, I believe. So, $3,000 car for a $25,000 car. Of course, it's not, at the time that we were making this trade, it wasn't still equal $25,000, but it didn't equal as low as $3,000, so it was a good trade for me. So, even though when I had my permit and all, I was driving around with the Mercedes, when I ended up taking my driver's license test, which I didn't even do when I was 16 or 17, I waited pretty much, actually I did do it when I was 17, but I did it like a month before I turned 18. I waited very long. I had absolutely no desire, for whatever reason, to get my license, because I didn't go anywhere. I had no desire to go anywhere. I ended up buying my first car 3 years, or I guess 2.5 years, prior to getting my license. I ended up I took the test to get my driver's license 1 or 2 months. I think it was 1 month. I think it was April of 2015. 1 month before I turned 18. And I got my license, the actual, the card, the driver's license, 1 week before I turned 18. And I didn't even drive until I turned 18. Like, the day I turned 18. I was like, okay, I'll just go ahead and drive now, because why the fuck not? So yeah, that was that. I think I didn't drive because my insurance, I think that was why. My insurance, I didn't have insurance until I was 18. Yeah. I don't remember. I think it was cheaper if I waited like an extra week until I got my insurance. I'm pretty sure that was why. I don't remember. It was a while ago. It was like over 3.5 years ago now. Or almost 3.5 years ago. November 13th, it'll be 3.5 years. So yeah. My first car was a Mercedes CLK 430 from 1999. My second car was my dad's Mazda Miata from 2007, Mazda Miata MX-5. My third car was this, I guess, 2017 Mazda 3, which I should mention, so I continued saving money. When I tutor, I pretty much save 90% of the money I make. I don't spend that. I do spend a lot of money, but I spend 10% of the money I make. So, I mean, when you're making $100 an hour and you're tutoring multiple hours a day, because you have multiple students, I mean, it adds up. I actually tried to calculate, if I drop out of college, how much money I could make just tutoring SAT, AP, and SAT subjects. And I found out that, since I'm just, making cash, it would actually end up being, I think it was over 150 grand. And then I realized medical school is such a better idea because I could make so much more. By the way, 150 grand was working absolute minimum hours and taking 3 months of vacation. By absolute minimum hours, I meant minimum hours to make 150 grand. But if I was working like a regular person, I think I could have made double that. I'm not sure. I don't remember because I haven't really calculated that. Given that I've pretty much settled on becoming a doctor, as it's much, much more lucrative and financial security. Plus, like, the reason I tutor is the same reason I want to be a doctor. Either way, I'm helping people. If I'm tutoring, I'm helping people learn. If I'm being a doctor, I'm saving lives. I mean, I don't know, sometimes it's not that extreme. I mean, if you have a cold, I'm just telling you, hey, drink some warm tea for your throat. Warm tea, hot tea. Or here's an antibiotic for your bacterial infection, which is not a cold because that's viral, but yeah, that's that. I really want to drink some hot chocolate right now. Not that I'm cold, I just want a hot drink, and I hate most hot drinks. Oh yeah, anyway, so I had quite a bit of money saved up until my second year of college. And mind you, I'm graduating college debt-free. Given the way I've worked, I've accumulated no debt. Give me 1 second. How long have I been? 1 hour and 7 minutes. Wow. I might not do a part 2 later tonight. I might actually just wrap it up now. I'm still not done though. I still have a bit more to talk about. I had about $34,000 saved up by August/September/October 2016. And around that time, I was like, okay, I'm going to finally buy a car. The car I initially wanted to get was a BMW 435i with a bunch of, packages and whatnot. I realized I didn't have the money for that at the age of 19. So I couldn't get that. Makes sense, right? Didn't have the money. So I settled for one. I wanted to get an electric car after I realized I couldn't get a BMW. So I went and test drove the, mind you, I wanted to get the Model S as well. But the Model S that I wanted was $135,000, fully maxed out, the P100D. And I was like, yeah, that's $100,000 more than what I have right now. Even more than $100,000, mind you. So the Model S was like out of question. Once I realized I couldn't get the Model S, I was like, I'll get the 435i. But then I couldn't get the 435i, so I was like, okay, I'll just get a cheap electric car. So I test drove the Volkswagen electric Golf, and I liked it, but the range was too short. And I was like, I'm not gonna survive a 60. I know the range is like 100 miles, but I'm not gonna survive a 60-mile drive every day. I'm gonna run out of electricity very often, and this is gonna be a waste of a purchase. Then I drove the Nissan Leaf. By the way, I didn't come to this realization quite yet. That's why I also test drove a Nissan Leaf. And the driving sucks. That car is garbage. I'm sorry if you like the Nissan Leaf. That's your preference. But after driving a Mercedes and a Mazda Miata, a CLK 430 and a Mazda Miata, I could not drive the Nissan Leaf. The Nissan Leaf's steering was absolute garbage compared to those two cars for my preference. So I hated that car, and I was like, nope. Then I went and drove two Toyota Prii. The regular Prius and then the Prius C, I believe. And I believe the C was like tiny or something. Either way, both those cars, I did not like those. I also did not like the steering on those cars. I didn't even try Honda because Honda is like one of my absolute least favorite car companies to ever exist, just because it's like, it is what it is. So the last car I ended up test driving was a 2016 Mazda 3 the regular one, and I immediately loved it because I was already used to the Mazda Miata's steering, and it felt very similar. And I was like, this is perfect. And then I was like, this is not perfect enough. And then I realized there were two Mazda 3s. There's the 2-liter engine and the 2.5-liter engine. With a difference of, like, the 2-liter engine was 150 horsepower, I believe. And then the 2.5-liter is 185 horsepower. So I test drove that, and I did feel the difference. And it was much better. It had sport mode. Overall, it suited me more with the kind of person I was, which was a 19-year-old boy who liked cars and could not afford a car over $34,000. And of course, I didn't want to actually spend every penny I had. So the car came to a total of $27,000. But since it was like a family friend who was at the dealership, he gave my dad a good deal, and giving my dad a good deal meant giving me a good deal. So the car ended up being $24,000. And mind you, the car has like a lot of packages on it. It doesn't have every package that a Mazda 3 can have. For example, I don't have the Sky Active engine, and I don't have adaptive cruise control, but I have everything else, pretty much. And I'm actually kind of sad I never got the active cruise control. I don't really care about the Sky Active engine, which I believe introduced regenerative braking to the car, which would have given me better efficiency. But I actually prefer a more fun drive to efficiency. Like, even when I end up getting the Model 3, which is definitely going to be my next car, like, I have decided on this. I'm probably not going to drive efficiently. Like, I don't care. I'm gonna use a lot of electricity. I'm going to charge my car every night, regardless. I'm going to kill like 40-50% of my battery daily with the way I'm going to drive. Or I don't know, there are days where I'm like mellowed out and I actually drive very calmly and whatnot. Or, you know, I'm going to have autopilot drive. But every time I come to a red light, I'm just constantly going to be doing the 0 to 60. Super quickly. Or, I mean, if the speed limit's lower, then yeah, like, I'll just go 10 miles over and then slow down to the speed limit, or, you know, 5 over, whatever. Drive it like you're having fun with it, right? Don't drive it like you're trying to save money. I mean, unless you have to save money. If that's why you're buying the car, then, I mean, that's you. I'm buying the car because I want to have fun with it. Which is why I'm choosing like a Model 3 over like a BMW M3, which would be a more luxurious car, but it wouldn't be as fun. It is still like a very fun car. It's just not going to be as fun as a Model 3, which is a spaceship of a car. Anyways, after getting the Mazda 3 2 years ago, I was pretty much left with about $10,000 in my savings account. Give or take $1,000. I don't remember specifically. Mind you, I still had $34,000 because I bought the car like on a loan, so my credit score would go up. But in my mind, I was like, okay, there is this much money that I can never, ever, ever spend out of this savings account, because there is no way I'm risking not being able to pay off this car ever. And 2 years later, I have officially paid off this car. I mean, I could have paid it off in one day and just had $10,000 in my savings account. Like, absolutely $10,000 in my savings account. But that also wouldn't have happened because I was still tutoring multiple hours. So I was still making a lot of money. Which is nice, right? I mean, still paying my tuition, still able to save up for medical school. That's actually essentially, that was my goal. By the time I was done with my 4th year of undergrad, I would have enough money to pay off 4 years of medical school. I'm not done with my 4th year of college, and I already have enough for medical school. So what happened so this was my 2nd year where I bought the Mazda 3, 2nd year of college. what happened in my third year? Well, thank God for Apple, the iPhone 10 came out. And I ended up buying a bunch of iPhone 10s. I kept one for myself and I sold 15 other ones. And I made profit unlike I ever thought I would make over the course of 1 week. And I was thinking, well, with this profit that neared $100,000, I'm going to go buy myself an apartment. One, I realized, holy crap, I can't afford to buy an apartment. That was my next goal with my savings account. It wasn't actually to have enough for med school. I figured I would work towards med school. The reason I said that is that was my goal afterwards. After I realized I can't buy an apartment, I realized I want to get enough money to buy a very nice car, to buy an apartment, a very nice apartment as well, and to pay off 4 years of medical school. This was my goal for the next 2 years after I realized I couldn't buy an apartment right then and there. So I was debating, should I put my money in the stock market? And I didn't do this until April 26th, 2018. Yeah, because that's the year it is right now. And I was still tutoring, not as much after selling those iPhones, after making that profit. I didn't need to work. I made more money than I had ever made up to that point. I made pretty much double, roughly. No, I made the same amount of money that I had made up until that point. Yeah, or a little bit less, actually. Because within the 1 year of me buying the car and me tutoring, I had $86,000, I think, saved up. 83, 89, 80 something. And then I bought a whole bunch of iPhones, and then I sold those at profit, and then I had over $100,000. And I didn't know what to do with the money. I kept telling myself, oh, wow, 1 year later, and I can afford to buy a Model S P100D. This is great. Of course, I didn't buy it because, one, I didn't even test drive the car. I couldn't test drive the car. I wasn't even 21. And two, I just bought a car 1 year ago, which is, given that I bought this car 2 years ago now, I still can't get myself to buy the Model 3. Even though I can right now online go Apple Pay the car and just feel very slightly guilty, or maybe very, very guilty. I don't know. It's I want this car to just stop working so I have an excuse for myself to actually spend the money right now. There is another reason why I'm not buying the Model 3 right now. Oh, by the way, so yeah, eventually, before I get to that, eventually I ended up, investing in the stock market. Profits came like nothing else. By September, I sold my profits. I bought iPhone XS's and XS Maxes. I sold those at profit. And then here we are now. I'm actually not even invested in anything right now. Right now I'm just tutoring, and any money I make there, I'm throwing into my savings account. And I'm sitting very comfortably right now. Comfortable enough to that I can buy an $80,000 car, pay off 4 years of medical school. I still can't afford an apartment. I could afford to rent an apartment, a very nice apartment, for 4 years. But my goal is to buy an apartment. But I'm still not sitting comfortably to the point where I can do those three things and still have a very comfortable amount of money to sit in my savings account. Because at this point right now, I would be, well, this is if I live in California. If I live elsewhere, my tuition would be higher, but my apartment price would be lower. So, I mean, I don't know. A very nice apartment would also cost a lot less outside of Westwood, or LA, or Beverly Hills or wherever. Like, I have insanely high expectations of myself, and I'd like to believe that's what's gotten me this far in life. I mean, throughout high school, I didn't have the motivation to do well in school, and that was okay because I just naturally did well in school. And as a result, I used that as a way to make money, which worked out very well for me. And I'm able to control my spending. I mean, yeah, there are times where I go crazy on spending. I'll spend I know this might not seem like much to some people, but then it'll seem like a lot to some other people. But every now and then I might spend $1,800 a month. Whereas I try to keep that figure close to $900 a month, where half of that is actually groceries, because Trader Joe's, Whole Foods, it's expensive, and I actually get food quite often. Thank God I have a high metabolism, otherwise I wouldn't be able to move with the amount I actually eat. Speaking of eat, I'm actually absolutely starving right now, and I really want to eat, but the Corner Bakery is not open right now, and I do want to get bacon cheddar panini. Oh, anyways, so the main reason two reasons why I'm not getting the Model 3 right now. One, I bought a car 2 years ago, so I'd like to at least wait 3 years, or at the very least 2.5 years before jumping and buying another car. And number two, if I end up spending I guess it's $72,000 now, so we can round down to $72,000, or let's say $75,000, just a nice equilibrium. If I end up spending $75,000 on a car right now, what's going to end up happening is I'm going to have less money to put into the stock market. If I have less money to put in the stock market, that's less profit that I'm making, because let's say I make a 10% profit, okay? 10% profit on $500,000 is $50,000, whereas 10% profit on $400,000, I'm rounding now, okay? I'm not gonna, even though 10% is a very easy profit thing to calculate, but 10% on $400,000 is only $40,000. Not that $40,000 is not a lot of money. It's more money than what my car is worth. It's almost twice as much as what my car is worth. But when you can make a $50,000 profit off of 10%, why not do that? That's why I'm still waiting. I'd like to have enough money to pay off 4 years of medical school, buy the Model 3, buy an apartment, and a very nice apartment, mind you. Okay, well, when I say very nice, I'm not talking New York penthouse, that large with that nice of a view, but I'm talking a modern apartment that is I don't know, 2-bedroom, 2-bathroom, and modern, brand new, and whatnot. And end up having a bunch of money left over, so that I can pretty much live comfortably for those few years. And then if I have free time to be tutoring here or there, of course I'll do that, and then I can go back to investing money in the stock market, and not risk anything. Of course, I can't wait for the recession to hit, because then I can invest everything right after the recession hits with all those low prices, and then watch the profit just go up. So yeah, that's my ultimate end goal is actually to have $1 million by the time I'm 25. I seem to have greatly underestimated myself, because I'm actually going to be hitting that sooner than I expected, which is nice. But the other thing is, I'm not going to be spending all that money. My spending hasn't really changed. I've gone from spending an average of $600 a month to $750, $800 a month. I haven't really changed that. I've decided to keep everything the same because I have an end goal, and I'm also not trying to like have that money change me right now. Like if I start spending extravagantly on everything, I'm not going to be able to keep that money. I'm pretty sure like you know how I said I always spend 10% of what I made. First of all, that's an estimation. I might be spending between 7 to 50, might have been, mind you, not that I am now. I'm spending significantly. I'm spending less than 1% of what I have. I can't say what I make because like I have two sources of income right now. I have my tutoring and I have the stocks. Well, right now I don't have the stocks, but the stocks have made a considerable nice savings for me, and that's awesome. Diversify. Accept yourself. Love yourself. Vines. Rest in peace, Vine. So yeah, that's I don't think I have anything else to say, really. I'm probably gonna end up getting the Model 3 sooner than what I want. That's like, at the moment, that's like the only thing I want. I always end up finding something to want. I mean, like, this past summer, I ended up getting a 13-inch 2018 MacBook Pro, because I wanted a 13-inch laptop with quad cores my whole life, and now Apple has made one. I don't care if another company had it. I didn't want a non-Apple laptop. I don't mind having a non-Apple phone, but I do mind having a non-Apple laptop. I wouldn't mind having a non-Apple desktop. I mean, for one, I don't even use my iMac anymore. I haven't used it in 2 years. It's been sitting in this corner, and every now and then I just go and like I run my finger on the back of the iMac, and I'm like, that is a shit ton of dust, my dude. Speaking of iMacs, if they come out with like thinner, nicer looking iMacs, I'm definitely going to be picking one of those up. Which, oh crap, in 30 minutes, there's the Apple event. Oh, I should get to like Coffee Bean to watch that. Oh, Apple, give me my shit. Give me my keynote. Live from Brooklyn. Watch on October 30th at 10 a.m. Let's go on Twitter. Let's see what the tech YouTubers are saying right now. Can I please have internet connection? I'm underground right now, so. No, that's not tech YouTubers. Oh, MKBHD, 8 minutes ago. Quality. Austin Evans wants to see a new MacBook Air. Well, yeah, we're probably gonna see that. Hopefully, at least. Funny picture from Carl Conrad regarding Austin Evans. This is cool. Very excited. Oh, Jonathan Morrison uploaded his recent video in 8K, 4320p. Jesus Christ, that's insane. And okay, yeah. Let me go ahead and put my phone away. I am very hungry. Oh, they open in 15 minutes. I want to go eat. Actually, it would take me 10 minutes to walk there, so I think I should wrap this up. I'm actually not going to do a part 2 to this podcast, given that this has lasted 1 hour 30 minutes, which is actually my target time for these podcasts, roughly. So I don't know, whatever my morning part length is, plus the afternoon or evening length. But yeah, guys, I don't know if you guys want financial advice. My biggest financial advice is work as much as you can to make as much as you can, and then spend. Obviously, if you're making like minimum wage, you can't really afford to be spending 10%. and I mean, there's a chance that you're, not living with your parents. I do live with my parents, which is like awesome for me because I don't have to waste any money on rent. The only thing I have to do is spend money on the food that I want to like get either outdoors or I guess even indoors, since I like cooking my own food. I mean, it's fun. I should a few years ago I did a video with Justin, like cooking sausages with SoulPod 11. I think that's what it was called. And I want to like absolutely do an updated version of that. For one, it's not just sausages anymore, it's sausage and eggs. Wow, what a complex food. Then there's like cooking a filet mignon, cooking some chicken breasts, boneless chicken breasts, making a Caesar salad. I don't know, guys. Salmon. I tried a tilapia recently, making tilapia. I kind of burned it, and I also didn't like it. I mean, I always end up burning my food here and there. I add way too many spices, which makes like a really nice way of burning your food. I also made sushi once, and I didn't do a very good job with that, so I gotta like try that again because maybe, you know what? No, I'll try nigiri sushi, I believe is what it's called. I gotta try, like that's gonna be harder to fuck up. Also, I'm like scared to like give myself raw food. I would probably do nigiri with cooking the salmon. Also, like salmon's pretty much the only fish I like. I've tried like tuna, yellowtail, eel. I don't know if eel is considered to be a fish, but it's a sea critter. Imitation crab, which I know is not a fish. Like, I know crab is not a fish. Crab is pretty much like a spider. It's an arachnid. So yeah. I don't know. I want to do some cooking videos. Maybe I'll do them with Keo or something. Because, I don't know. He's a good cameraman. So yeah, that's, that about does that. I gotta get back into doing vlogs. I hope you guys enjoyed this podcast, this first episode. I was planning on doing these once a day. I'm actually gonna like leave this as it is, and probably when can I upload? Do I have enough gameplay for this? I might actually have enough gameplay for this. I hope I do. If not, the rest of the video is black screen of death. Probably that's how it's going to end up, actually. And if so, I apologize. I didn't like really plan on that. Eventually, I actually want to do these podcasts with like using After Effects, having like a audio waveform in the background. One last thing. The other reason that I wanted to test drive a Tesla again is since I test drove it at night, I didn't get to see like how the red looks like during the day and how the white interior looks like during the day. That is something I do want to see because I only saw it at night, and even then, I don't even remember what it looked like at night. I already forgot. So quickly, so soon, so sad. Also, the 0 to 60, that was at roughly 50% charge on the Model 3. Imagine what it's like at 90% charge. Also, if I get the Model 3, I'm pretty much going to be charging that thing like 85% a day. Or if I realize I can charge it up to 70%, then I'll just be doing that, because charging it to a lower state is better for daily use and whatnot. So yeah, I think I'm good. I'll talk about Tesla another day. But yeah, I really do hope you guys enjoy this podcast. Oh, I don't think I finished that financial advice tip that I had. So yeah, I mean, if you're living like by yourself, you're like paying rent and you have like minimum wage, then yeah, you're in a much different much different situation than I am. I mean, it's nice to be able to find something you're very good at and to be able to teach that, and I don't know. For me, like, I can't like think of any other advice other than tutoring. And then I realized not everyone can tutor. I mean, even people who are very good at school or very good at a certain subject, that doesn't necessarily make them a good teacher. Like I understand that. But then I can't think of like another way of making money. Cause like I couldn't just go and buy a whole bunch of iPhones and then sell them. I mean, I couldn't do the first part. I couldn't just go and buy a whole bunch of iPhones if I didn't have the money for that in the first place. Because, I mean, the iPhones are expensive in the first place. Like, I can't deny that. Of course, it's more expensive for the people buying them at markup on eBay. But, like, still, you have to have some money. And most people don't have, like, savings. I mean, whenever I end up going to the bank, and I like end up putting some cash into my savings account from tutoring, the people there are always like they're always baffled by the amount I have in my savings. And that's simply from the fact that I don't withdraw anything. Like, the only thing I was withdrawing from my savings was the amount of money it would take to pay off my car in 2 years. And I didn't have to pay it off in 2 years. I could have paid it off longer. I just decided 2 years was inappropriate. It wasn't even 2 years. It was like between 1.5 and 1 3/4 of a year. That's 1 2/3 of a year. So yeah, I mean, it's not really my place to be giving financial advice. I'm barely 21 and a half years old. Like, I don't have that much experience, but I knew how I can use my own strengths to make this amount of money. Plus, I started like 7 years ago. That's 33% of my life ago. I like fractions, guys. I like fractions a lot. So yeah, I mean, I don't know, just if you're struggling to get by and you're also like spending money on, I don't know, like for me, I'm not someone who goes and spends hundreds of dollars on clothes. I buy my clothes from Costco. Now this is a personal thing because I don't really give a crap about how I look. I prefer to be super comfortable than anything else. The shirts I wear, I buy like a pack of 6 white t-shirts from Costco for roughly $20, making each shirt cost around $3 and some number of cents. 33 cents, I believe. And I mean, you can go and buy like one shirt for like $5 to $10 pretty cheap from Target, but I'm buying like 3 shirts for the price of that one $10 shirt, essentially. And then my sweatpants are like $25, and I've bought like a bunch of those, and then I do my laundry like once every 7-8 days or something. So there is that. And what else? My shoes are relatively expensive. I don't know how expensive shoes can actually end up being. But my shoes are $220. That's pretty much the most expensive thing I wear. Every now and then I have a sweater that's like between $50 and $80. I mean, I like having warm sweaters and that are soft and that will last me multiple years. So, I mean, that's that. It happens to be that from J. Crew or Banana Republic. Those are like expensive stores, but the shirt and sweatpants I wear are not. I don't wear expensive clothes. I don't go every day buying new clothes, or every week even. I pretty much once a year I will buy more clothes. I mean, yeah, I might like if my white shirts are like getting stained or torn or whatever. I mean, yeah, it doesn't cost. It costs me $20 to buy 6 shirts. Fantastic. That's the greatest deal ever. And yeah, that's me, because I don't care about how I look. A lot of people probably care about how they look. especially like in my age, like of being 21, or in their 20s, late 18, 19, or late teens, early 20s, hell, even late 20s. I mean, that's like a thing, and even 30s probably. But if you don't focus on that, you can just have your money and spend it on other things. Like, personally, one of my favorite things to spend money on, other than technology, this is like a daily thing I like to spend it on, is just eating out at a nice restaurant, or just simply put, eating out like every day, and not having like it be crappy fast food, you know? Because like that would be unhealthy. Like, trying to save money by getting crappy food, that's not a good way to save money. You shouldn't be compromising your health while you save money. Your clothing style, yeah, that's not an important thing to try and like what you want to get nice clothes because you want to prove that you have money. Well, if you end up doing that and then you don't have money, well, you just played yourself, my dude. You just played yourself. So yeah, I mean, find out what's important to you. If you find that your health is not as important as the way you look or something, well then yeah, I mean, that's a you thing, I guess. That's how you want to live your life. And there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, I find that there is something wrong with that because that's my viewpoint, that's my opinion. But why would you care what I think? Actually, if you're the kind of person who is dressing to be liked or whatever, to impress people, then you probably do care about my opinion, because you're not impressing me, at least. You're doing the opposite, actually. But of course, if you do have the money to spend on that and whatever, then I don't care. So yeah, there's that. That's my little financial advice. Spend money only on the things that are absolutely important for you, and understand that, like, buying some clothes, or I don't know, superficial. I don't want to say superficial because, like, to me it's superficial, but to someone else it might not be superficial. Buy things that make you happy. Spend your money on things that make you happy. Let's just leave it at that, okay? So, I mean, whatever makes you happy. But don't be spending money that's going to cause you to not be able to get the things that you actually need either. And that does include your rent, of course, your bills, everything else. So yeah, if you guys have any questions or anything, like if you have problems and you want like some advice that I might have to help you, please, I don't know, comment down below. I should probably make like an email for this, for business inquiries. I don't really have an email for that. I will make an email for that. And yeah, actually, yeah, there will be an email in the description below. You can email that if you don't want to just leave a comment, in case you're like, oh, this is too personal. And I will get back to you. Or if you want, you can email me personally, and then I can like make a video about you. And then one of two things, like you could tell me, no, don't make a video about me, or I could make it, or you could be okay with me making a video about you. Or scenario 3, sorry, not 2 things, 3 things. I could make a video about you, but I could just like leave you as anonymous person. That's like another thing I could do. Whereas like, oh, this is the situation person X is in, and this is how I think that person should go about their life, or whatever. Again, I probably can't help you if you're in like a situation that's completely different from mine, because like the advice I would have, and this really wouldn't work out too well, is, hey, grab one subject like chemistry, learn it very well, and then learn how to teach, and then teach it, and then charge a lot, and then like I would just tell you to do what I did. But there might be like the problem you have, I might be able to find a way to like solve it without you having to do everything I did. And I mean, mind you, my dad was the one who taught me everything at a very young age. And he, like, lucky for me, he was a very good teacher, like 1 in 1 billion. Like, really, 1 in 1 billion. Because I've never had a teacher as good as him. Yeah, maybe I'm biased, but I mean, whenever he taught me something, I was never confused on it. Like, not once. And that might just be given that he taught me things at a very young age. So I learned things more quickly. But still, like, he's a really good teacher. And pretty much, I don't believe I'm as good as... I believe when it comes to, like, the subject of chemistry, I am better than he is. But I don't think I'm a better teacher than he is. And I think I'm a damn good teacher. Maybe 1 in 100 million. Maybe that's me. I don't think I'm anywhere as good as he is, though. He is significantly better at explaining things than I am. And, yeah, if I could try and help you with your problems, whatever it may be, if it's financial or some personal problems. I am a good therapist to some people. Mind you, though, I am already busy as it is, so, like, I might not be able to, like, this is a very busy year for me. Like, next year would be a much better year. Of course, please don't wait 1 year. Like, if you have a problem, please send it. I will do my best and try and, like, help. But, I don't know. Alright, it's 6:47 a.m. I want to go get some breakfast and watch some House MD. And, yeah, hope you guys enjoy this. I've been trying to end this video for a while. Eventually I'll get my Model 3 and I'll make videos with that. I'm very excited for that. Even if I wait 1 entire year. Every day goes by more slowly the more I think about it. I even made my laptop's desktop wallpaper a Model 3. And I was like, I should do it on my phone, but I shouldn't torture myself that much. Eventually, one of these days, guys, I will grab one of those. It's just a matter of, do I get the red? Do I get the blue? Do I get the gray? I feel like if I get the dark gray, I kind of have to get the black interior. I don't have to, but it just kind of makes more sense. It goes with the car, but I don't know, a white interior, it's a really nice change of pace, and it just looks gorgeous. The blue with the white interior and the red with the white interior, also absolutely stunning choices. I don't know, we'll see. Because again, red is not my color, but just looks so damn good on the Model 3. Alright, I'm done. I'm done talking. I'm gonna go listen to music as I walk over, and I should probably take my textbooks out of my backpack, because there's 2 textbooks in there, a laptop, an iPad. 10 minutes until the Apple event. Never mind, I don't want to watch House. Actually, I'll just go on I'll watch House, and then I'll go on Twitter, watching everyone posting, like, everything, because I don't think I'll have good enough internet at Corner Bakery, because they have really crappy internet, to be able to watch the keynote. And I don't think my LTE hotspot will give me a good enough connection for Apple event. It would for YouTube, but I don't think it would for Apple's website, because that website it doesn't like me at all. Maybe I'll watch it on my phone as well. We'll see. So, thank you for watching, guys. This is actually it. This is me saying goodbye, for sure, 100%. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to like button down below, subscribe to see more of these, and let me know if there's any topics that you actually want me to talk about next time. And I'll hold off on making the next episode. And I actually hope, like, someone got this far in the video, because that would be cool. If not, then I really am just talking to myself. it would be really nice if someone could just put a comment down below saying I'm not talking to myself, at the very least. And then if there's a topic you'd like me to talk about, then absolutely, please let me know. All right. Thanks for watching, guys. Thanks for listening, actually, since you're probably looking at a black screen, maybe. And I will see you guys later. Good morning, everybody. I'm kidding. It's actually the afternoon. So I know this morning I ended the video or the podcast, but I actually decided, because the traffic is actually gonna take me a while, that I would talk about my day, like how everything went, what I did, and whatnot. Because why the hell not, right? I mean, it's a nice way to keep myself occupied. I might not do this podcast my entire drive home. I might cut it a little bit shorter, just because I'm listening to a new playlist that I made, and I'm really, really liking it. So, there is that. Wow, that was so much faster. I took a little new route to try and get to the freeway, and that was 20 minutes faster. Okay, maybe not that much, but 10, 15 minutes faster. And that is that right there is maybe a fifth or a fourth of the time I'm going to be stuck in this car, 15, 20-ish minutes, or 10, 15 minutes. I don't know. Okay, well, 10 minutes is not going to be a fourth or a fifth. It would be a seventh or something. Because the drive back right now, it's 6 p.m. It's currently 6:10 p.m., but I left 8-ish minutes ago. It takes a while to, oh my God. This is the thing I was talking about. I'm gonna end up being in a bitchy mood, even though I'm smiling right now because I love commentating and whatnot. It's these LA drivers at this time of day when everyone's trying to go home, or everyone's bitchy and whatnot. Everyone's a dick driver. Everyone's cutting everyone off more than they should and whatnot. Crossing red lights and whatnot. Literally just saw that happen right now. At least these red lights to get onto the freeway, where it's 2 cars per green light and whatnot. And then only 1 car goes, or sometimes 3 cars go. I mean, holy shit, do they not understand anything? Nothing's working. Everyone just kind of went for themselves. There was anarchy. It worked out somehow. The school bus went, and then 3 cars on its left went, and then 1 car behind, or 2 cars behind it went, and then I went, and then this Prius just, without signaling, cut 2 solid white lines. This is LA driving for you people at rush hour, or I don't care if the freeways are open, drive however the fuck you want. Don't cause an accident in front of me, so as to cause me to be going slower. But hey man, as long as I can get a couple lanes over, I don't want to be this far over to the right, because the right side is not that the left side is that much faster, but hey, I'll honestly take any amount of faster, because the slow right lane is slow. And yeah, I mean, if we're going 15 miles per hour in the right lane, the other lanes might be going 20, maybe at the very most 30, which is nice, but 30 is still less than half of the speed limit, actually. Anyways, and enough about these stupid LA drivers, which I am one of them, but I am polite. I don't cut people off. If I'm going to, there's going to be a lot of room. I'm going to signal, and I don't think that's cutting people off anymore. I think that's just turning into their lane, whether they want me to or not. But I mean, if there's distance, if it's safe, if there's no risk of an accident, then I wouldn't really call that cutting someone off. I wouldn't call that being a dick. I would call that just trying to make a lane change and whatnot. And that beeping you heard, that wasn't me being a dick. That was me signaling so the car behind the car that was right next to me, that was blind spot monitor that you heard. wouldn't like rush up and block me, because there was like considerable distance. But sometimes when you signal, cars like this car, there's a truck in front. Okay, he wants to get in front of the car in front of me. I was making room so that he could come in front of me, but that's okay. Anyways, enough about this. I'm trying to let's keep this like minimal. I want to focus on, I guess, my day. It was a good day. I had a midterm today regarding dynamical modelings, regarding dynamical modeling of ecological systems that have like nonlinear ordinary differential equations that describe them without analytical solutions and whatnot. I know that sounds like a mouthful. That sounds really hard. If you're good at like basic calculus, like, Euler's method, derivatives, second derivatives, or like the first derivative is with respect to time and the second derivative is with respect to the variable that you are measuring. So like dx prime dx or something, or dp prime dp or whatever. Like if you're good at that stuff, then this class would be easy for you. If you're good with math, you can figure things out. If you understand math, like there were 2 questions that I actually didn't understand. Sorry, not that I didn't understand, but that I didn't know. But the great thing about math tests is pretty much you don't actually always have to know. There are ways to figure things out. You do kind of have to like have some level of intelligence to be able to do that. It's not like anyone can do it. I mean, anyone can, but not when you're on a time limit. Like 2 hours might be like a little crunching it for some people. It took me, I think just 1 hour, actually. Maybe a little bit. An hour, 10 minutes? Actually, we started a little late. So it might have just been like a bit over an hour. Where I spent 25 minutes on a 6-point question, and the entire test is out of 100 points. So one question that I didn't know and I had to figure out, and I was actually worried it would take me longer than that, but luckily it didn't, and I was able to get to my next class just in time. Because I actually have like an overlap. Anyway, so that was that. I actually think I did very well. I think worst case, I'm going to get a 97% on that test. In regards of UCLA midterms, for me at least, that was on the easier side of midterms for a class that is relatively viewed as being hard, at least. Like it has a difficult reputation, shall we say, or at least like every neuroscience class has that reputation. This is obviously on the easier side, especially for me, since this is like one of the very few neuroscience classes that has mathematics in it, and if there's any amount of mathematics in any class, that's just gonna make things much easier for me. But let's start with like what happened when today was a very, very fun day, actually. A lot of good things happened today. So let's start with what happened after I stopped the podcast this morning, the first part. Yeah, again, I said I wasn't going to do a part 2, but I was like, I'm a little hyper right now, guys. So obviously I want to turn on my heated seats because I'm starting to get a little chilly right now. So I decided to go to Corner Bakery Cafe. I got a chicken sausage flat. I got an Anaheim panini, which was nice. There were tomato, avocado, onions, cheese, eggs, and bacon, all sandwiched between sourdough bread. So that was nice. That was delicious. I also had a chocolate baby bundt cake, and of course, a glass of milk, and asshole drivers. Okay, that's 3 of them. Hopefully it ends. No more. I yield. Little Skyrim joke for you. Or Skyrim reference, I guess. Not really a joke. Fuck, I lost my train of thought. Oh yeah, and a glass of milk. Because I like milk. Because milk is delicious. Even though I'm partially lactose intolerant. Because I am who I am. Or at least I get like really bad stomach aches and my digestion shuts down. If that's what lactose intolerance is, that's what happens when I drink too much milk. I had just the right amount because I didn't feel sick. Anyways, while I was eating my breakfast, of course, I was streaming the Apple event. I missed like the first 15 minutes maybe or something when I started watching. they were already talking about the MacBook Air, like in the middle of it. And I was like, oh, that's cool. That looks nice. That's fantastic and all. But it's still, like, not great. I mean, it's great that they put Retina display on it. I don't think it's as good as the Retina displays on the MacBook Pros or anything. Hell, even the MacBooks might have a better one, but I'm not sure. I do know the processor is definitely going to be better than the 12-inch MacBook. For one, the MacBook Air has 8th gen, the MacBook 12-inch has 7th gen, so there's that. And I don't know, overall, like the main selling point of the 12-inch MacBook is that it's small and super light and super thin. The Air is like heavier, not by much. It's like 2.75 pounds instead of 2 pounds, so 0.75 pounds heavier. And, alright, I guess, the MacBook, the 12-inch is 2.03 pounds, if I recall correctly. I could be wrong on that number, but it's pretty much 2 pounds, okay. You can let those 0.03s slide if they're even there. I don't know. And then, so yeah, I didn't really care about the MacBook Air. I was just waiting for I was waiting for, like, 4 or 5 things total. Number 1, iPad, 11-inch, obviously. Number 2, Apple Pencil 2, because that was rumored to come. Number 3, AirPods. AirPods 2, I'm sorry. I should have specified that. Holy shit. The guy in front of me almost made me hit him. I swear to God. You cannot just hard brake like that. Why was there even a hard brake? Like, the freeway just opened up. Now I'm going 60. That's a first. That's a first at this time of day. One more left lane. Let's go. We're gonna come to a stop very soon. I can feel it. I know it. It's how it works. It's how life is. It's how life be sometimes. Sorry. This is what I meant by LA drivers. They will cut in front of you. So the guy cut in front of me, and then he, like, kind of braked. I'm going with braked. Broke is like when you break things, but not when you break your car. I mean, not when you break your car, but break the brake pedals. I mean, like, put your foot on the brakes. Braked. That makes more sense. Not broke. Broke is only when things get destroyed. But, yeah, so that was that. He went in front of me, did that, and then I, like, had to kind of smash my brakes so I wouldn't hit him. Because I couldn't really coast, because there wasn't that much distance in the first place. And then, for some reason, the freeway just opened up, and then I went left, and meow, I Model 3'd him. I'm kidding, I have a Mazda 3. I wish I could Model 3 people. That would be awesome, to just, like, disappear like that, because your car just accelerates that fast. Because, I mean, essentially, I just went 0 to 60. It took a while, but, I mean, I also, like, I wasn't flooring it the whole way. I slowed down around 45 to analyze the situation, and then I continued speeding up. So, yeah. Anyways, back to, so iPad, AirPods 2, Apple Pencil 2, and AirPower. So, AirPods 2 and AirPower, nothing was mentioned regarding those two. And, I mean, AirPower was probably not going to be announced. I just continuously think that's going to be announced. Apple said last year around this time, or I think at their September event, that thing was coming by the end of first quarter of 2018. We're at the fourth quarter and nothing has happened. So, yeah, Apple, why did you even announce such a wireless charging device that has me so excited, and I can't even, like, you guys can't even make it, so I can't even have it? Why do you do this to me? iPad is not OLED. Hold on. Well, before I get there, so MacBook Air, Mac Mini. I don't care. I'm happy with my MacBook Pro, quad-core 13-inch. That's like the perfect laptop. I was debating about getting a 6-core 15-inch, but I don't need 6 cores. maybe when like 6 cores is a bit cheaper, I would get that. Actually, the price is kind of the same as like the quad core 15-inch I had previously, because it wasn't that much more expensive. Not that I think, because I mean my laptop was like $4,000, and then this 13-inch that I got is actually $3,000. So I wasn't looking at like a very huge difference in regards to what I'm paying, but I didn't want to have another 15-inch. The main reason I grabbed the 13-inch MacBook Pro was that it has quad-core processor, and I can have that in a slimmer body. I just kind of, the one thing my laptop is missing is a dedicated graphics card. That would be the one nice thing that I could have, because video editing sometimes, like with the 4K videos, is definitely choppy. It's still much better than like my 12-inch MacBook, and my 12-inch MacBook handles it like, I want to say semi-decently well. It does work. It does export pretty damn quickly too. Nothing like too terribly. And the 13-inch, mind you, it does export very quickly, but it's more so since when you're scrubbing through these videos and you're like using 3D text or even 2D text, because of the lack of a graphics card, it just doesn't render it as quickly. So it's very choppy during playback. Exporting, though, both laptops do it very fine, with or without background render on. That's for Final Cut Pro, mind you. I wouldn't recommend using, even if you prefer Adobe Premiere. Adobe Premiere should be saved for Windows laptops. I don't know about Linux. I don't know if people with Linux even video edit. And if they can, I don't know if these softwares are actually optimized in any way for Linux, but for regular PC Windows, Adobe Premiere all the way. So if I actually, like when I end up building my PC, I am 100% getting Adobe Premiere. I've used Premiere on my Mac before. It's just that given how optimized Final Cut Pro is for the Mac, it's light years faster editing on that, both in real-time editing time and, of course, exporting time. Very important things, mind you. So, yeah, there's the MacBook Air, the Mac Mini, which I don't really care for, because that's a desktop, and I don't want a Mac desktop until like brand new iMacs get announced. And even then, that's kind of like debatable if I even want that. I mean, it would be nice because like they would be much, like the bezels would be super thin. The computer itself would be even thinner, because I was like very impressed in 2013 when those new iMacs came out. Of course, I even picked one up. I have a video on my channel where I was unboxing it and whatnot. Or no, I think that was on Digital Entertainment. That channel went down. I'm not sure. I might have it on my channel actually. If anything, I have it on a hard drive somewhere, but I think it got because of copyright music or something. So yeah, I am kind of waiting for iMacs, but I mean, I don't mind having either my late 2016 15-inch MacBook Pro or my mid 2018 13-inch MacBook Pro. That's the one I'm currently using. To just hook it up to a monitor and like pretty much have my laptop be my desktop, because my laptops have pure SSDs instead of like a Fusion drive, which is solid state and hard disk drive, or rather flash and hard disk drive, which is a bit slower than just pure flash storage. So as nice as 3 terabytes is, you only have like 128 gigabytes of SSD, and then the rest is hard disk drive. So Fusion drive concept is really cool though, and it's like really damn cheap, because well, you're pretty much paying for a hard disk drive and then just like super fast on some things, which it was like, I think it was like smartly optimized. So like if you're constantly using Final Cut Pro gets like, whenever you open it up, it gets opened up by the solid state, or the flash rather, instead of the hard disk drive. But if you stop using it for a while and start using, I don't know, let's just say Premiere for this example. Premiere, instead of being opening on the hard disk drive, which it will after like for the first couple or maybe few times, then since the computer realizes that's what you're using, that's an application you're using a lot, it will get opened by the SSD instead of the HDD, so it will be much faster. I keep saying SSD, but I'm pretty sure like on these iMacs it's just called flash storage, which it is a similar thing, but actually it might be the same thing, but I'm not sure. I remember someone telling me that they're slightly different. Like flash might actually be faster, or I don't know. Neither of them have spinning disks, so yeah. Oh. Let's see, what else? Okay, so yeah, the main event was the iPad, of course. Yeah, they also announced the Apple Pencil 2. So a few specs on the iPad Pros. There's two of them, okay? There's the 11-inch and the 12.9-inch. So the 12.9-inch, let's start with the 11-inch. First of all, that's the one I bought. So I'm actually going to be picking one up in a week. So that's cool. November 7th, Wednesday. That's nice. That's the one I wanted because I prefer the smaller size. The 12.9-inch actually also shrunk. The screen size is the same, but the top and bottom, I want to say bezels, but it's like the forehead and the chin, those have been pretty much eliminated. They've been cut off, so that's cool, I guess. It actually is, because like the 12.9-inch was huge, so the screen stays the same and the top and bottom gets cut off, and of course thickness wise it goes from, I believe, 6.9 to 5.9 millimeters. I could be wrong, I don't remember the figure exactly, and if anything I don't remember the older figure, which I believe it's just 1 millimeter thinner, but I could be wrong. Could be more, could be less. And then the 11-inch is pretty much the same body as the 10.5-inch, but now instead of 10.5 inches of screen, there's 11 inches of screen, so more screen was actually added in the same body as the 10.5-inch. Of course, it's it's not edge to edge, but the bezels are much thinner. It's kind of dumb to make a tablet edge to edge or bezel-less, given that like when you're holding it, you don't want to be holding like the screen. You'd rather like have a place for your fingers to rest, so you're not always like interfering with whatever it is you're doing. You don't want to like mess up a multi-touch gesture or something. I'm not exactly sure, but it just kind of makes sense that you do still want to have some bezels. And there's a chance that the next iPad update, like I want to say a significant update, that they might make the bezels a bit thinner, but I don't think it would be a good idea to get rid of them completely. On a laptop, it also would kind of just look weird. Like maybe if they somehow do it just right, it'll look nice, but I don't know. Having that, like leaving bezels is not a bad idea. On a laptop, on a tablet, on a phone, that's fine. Get rid of them or make them like micrometers thick, like to the point that it's just like the thinnest outline ever, and if that even has to be there, I don't know. But like on a phone, it doesn't matter. Phones are small, even like big phones, like the iPhone XS Max, 6.5 inches. It's still small, It's not as tiny as the iPhone 3GS, which has a 3.5-inch screen, mind you. That's almost half the size. Holy crap! Can you guys imagine that for a second? I mean, it's a little less than double the size of that, but screen-wise, of course. But yeah, I really liked it. I really liked the way it looked. I haven't seen it in person, of course. I will see it next week. I got the 512 gigabyte model. I wanted to get the 1 terabyte model, but I could not justify that price difference, since I believe it starts at $799 for the Wi-Fi, and I'm getting the Wi-Fi. I have the cellular version on my current 10.5-inch iPad Pro. After the first 6 months, where I had the $10 for 5 gigabytes, lasting for 5/6 months, whatever, I never really reused the cellular again. The cellular is too expensive, plus I have a hotspot. So, I mean, it was kind of cool that I tried it out and stuff, but, like, with the $10 for 5 gigs, I was very cautious about how much I was using. Like, I didn't want to overuse it, and this and that, and I didn't like how I was being so cautious with it, pretty much because, like, that was kind of like, I was stressing over, like, running out of 5 gigabytes in, like, 2 weeks, so I made it last 6 months, or 5 months, whatever it was, so, I mean, that was cool, I guess. But, yeah. So, I decided to go, I have the 256 gigabyte 10.5 inch. I was debating, I should probably just get the 256 again, but, I'd rather get the 512. Of course, I would rather get the 1 terabyte, but I already ordered the 512. I might make a decision later and just pick up the 1 terabyte, but chances are I'm going to stick to 512 gigabytes. And the reason I like this large amount of storage is I like to download my TV. I think I mentioned this morning. It sounds like I said this out loud earlier today or someday. But I like to download my shows and movies off of iTunes. I like having them ready so that when I'm in a situation with crappy internet, I don't have to, like, wait for them to load. I can just, like, scrub through and it's, like, seamless. It's there. Takes absolutely no lag to play the videos and whatnot, and that's what I like. And being able to have all my shows, all my movies would be nice. Unfortunately, even with 1 terabyte, I wouldn't be able to do that. I'd be able to have, like, every episode of House and then, like, every movie I have, but I wouldn't be able to have all my TV. So I pretty much only own 2 TV shows. House MD, which is the show about Dr. House and his friend. I was going to say friends, but, like, his subordinates and his boss and his one friend and this and that and his leg, I guess. I've seen the show like 17 times, and I can't even, like, summarize it. I love that show, but I can't, like, give a good description about it. Words can't describe how good it is. Let me put it like that. But I don't know, if you don't like medical shows, then you probably wouldn't like it. Or if you, I don't know, if you get butthurt easily, don't watch that show, because you're probably gonna get butthurt. Even though I find the jokes to be extremely lighthearted and whatnot, with the car in front of me just honked at the guy who crossed a double yellow line in front of him without signaling, and it was close, and he was holding that honk for quite a bit, and then he did the do 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 do. That was funny. The car in front of me has a good sense of humor. I like him. I'm gonna cut him off. I can't do that. Forgot what I was saying. Oh yeah, so let's talk about the new iPad Pro. So, for one, it's no longer Lightning. There's no more Lightning ports. It's a USB-C port now, which that's cool, I guess. I don't mind that. I sort of do, because I have a bunch of USB-C to Lightning accessories, and I bought most of those. Like, I have 3 cables of that. I have one that's 2 meters long and 2 that are 1 meter long. And I have those for pretty much my iPad, my current iPad. Luckily, I have a shit ton more USB-C to USB-C cables, so no problems there. But yeah, like, what the hell, man? I wasn't expecting this move to USB-C. I like half expected it, but I don't know. Apple never goes through with what I expect. Also, they got rid of the headphone jack. Yeah, I don't really care. It's an iPad. Like, I don't have headphones that I normally connect to my iPad. And if I do, it's pretty much going to be, you guessed it, AirPods. And if it's not that, it's going to be my Bose QC35s. The Mark 1s. I didn't get the Mark 2s because the Mark 2s have like Google Assistant, and that's about it. That's about the improvement that it has over the Mark 1s. Those are really good headphones though. Not great if you love listening to music, but just great if you want like to listen to music on an airplane or watch a movie on an airplane, because the noise cancellation is absolutely awesome, and those headphones are pretty damn light as well, so that's cool. Yeah. Anyways, so the Apple Pencil 2 is like a little bit smaller. There's no more plugging it into the iPad. They finally added like magnetic charging to that, so that's cool. You just connect it like to this little strip on the iPad, on the side of the iPad, and it charges it, and it also, that's how it pairs, so that's like super awesome. Well, definitely next week when I pick up the iPad Pro, I'll grab my phone and like kind of vlog myself unboxing it. It won't be super professional or anything, but it'll be after my midterm, so I will have time, luckily, to it'll be after like all my midterms for the time being, all my essays for the time being, other than of course my weekly essay. So I will have time to like make a little vlog of me unboxing that. So yeah, I got the Wi-Fi Space Gray 11-inch iPad with 512 gigabytes. I got the Apple Pencil Generation 2, which of course they made the price go higher. They couldn't just leave it at $99. They had to increase it by $20 or $30 or whatever they did. Fucking assholes, Apple. I think it was $20. If it was $30, then with the education pricing, it went down $10. And then I also got the Smart Folio, or whatever the hell it's called, the charcoal one. There were 3 colors. I'm really sad there's no leather. Actually, I'm not, because I actually didn't want leather. I also didn't want a Smart Folio. I wanted a Smart cover, and that was about it. I'm actually going to see if the 10.5-inch ones work on it. If it does, I might return the Folio. I might. Okay, keyword might. I'm also going to pick up the Smart Keyboard, and then I'm going to see which one I like. Like, if I don't end up liking the weight of the iPad Pro with... I like my iPad Pro, or just... I don't... it's annoying me when I say iPad Pro. I just like saying iPad. I'm like, yeah, it's the Pro. That's great. But the thing I like about it is how light it is. This new one is actually a little bit heavier as it is. Not by much, but it's like 11.5 pounds instead of 11. I'm sorry, not 11. 1.5 pounds instead of 1. You do kind of have to understand, though, that's like a 50% increase in weight. And that is noticeable. Like, because, you know, our brains work logarithmically. So if we understand what, like, a 50% increase, that is always going to be a lot. Maybe not for like 1 gram to 1.5 grams, but at least for a pound to 1.5 pounds, it is noticeable. Not that 1.5 pounds is heavy, it's just 1 pound is so light. So that's cool. So when I add the Smart Keyboard, if I'm like passing 2 pounds, at that point I pretty much have is that a Model 3 behind me? I see Model 3s everywhere I go. I get so excited about it. I'm in a tunnel. I like playing with the horn in the tunnel. Why did that sound like an innuendo? That was not an innuendo, I swear to God. That does not... Is that a Model 3 or a Model X? That might be a Model X. Those lights don't look very good. Those headlights, they look like ass. I like the headlights on my car infinitely more than that. It's like so choppy. It's so ugly. I dislike it very much. Since the since the port is now USB-C, you can actually plug in a USB-C to Lightning cable, putting the USB into your iPad, and then the Lightning the USB-C into your iPad and the Lightning into your iPhone, I guess, and that would charge your phone. So your iPad can work as a portable battery. I find that interesting. I don't know when I'm ever going to use that because, like, first of all, I always carry portable batteries, so I'm never going to, like, not be able to charge my phone. So it'd be a very interesting circumstance that I'd use that. I mean, I am going to use it once for, like, I want to see, like, how the drain is. 1 second, guys, as I make a multi-lane change activated. Oh my god, this Model X is like, it's chasing me. I can't get away from it. Tesla's following me. It could be a Model 3. I have no idea. If I slowed, the thing is, I would never, on the way driving home, I would never slow down because I'm just trying to get home. So there's that. 1 more lane change. Let's go. The Model X is gone. It's been lost behind me, behind another car. What else? What else is there about the iPad Pro? It has liquid retina display, so yeah, that's kind of cool. It's rounded and whatnot. Yet the body's like more like a MacBook Pro. It's more like pointy and whatnot, more rectangular, more boxy, which I don't mind. I do prefer round, but I like the way Apple does their version of boxy. It looks nice, in my opinion at least. And that's the only opinion that matters to me. In regards to something that I want to use, you have to understand that, guys. Hey, it's an M3. That's not an M3. That guy just has an M3 sticker. I don't get why people do that. Like, why would you put an M3 sticker on a car that's not an M3? It is a BMW. It is a 3 Series, but it's not an M3. Why do people do that? iPad. What else is there to talk about? So yeah, pretty much I ordered 3 things. I didn't order the keyboard, but when I go in store next week to pick everything up, I am going to grab one of those. Of course, I have 14 days to return either, the keyboard or the folio. And then if I realize, like, the smart cover ends up working with the iPad, I might actually just use, like, my leather smart sleeve and then a silicone smart cover or something. Or I might just stick to the leather one that I have. I'm hoping that works. I don't mind using the smart folio. Like, if I end up liking it, then, well, hell yeah, I'll just use that. But, I mean, if I don't like it, I'm just really hoping I don't end up liking the keyboard. The thing is, so I have the midnight blue leather smart cover on my 10.5-inch iPad Pro, but I also have the silicone smart keyboard. And you're wondering, why do I have both of those? Well, 1, because I wanted to have both of those. I know it's ridiculous because, like, they both function as a stand. They both function as covering the screen when you're not using the iPad and whatnot. But 1 is, like, significantly thinner and lighter because I don't know why leather is lighter than silicone. It is, though. At least that's how it feels to me. Whatever, like, slight difference that is. Is that a Model 3? Every time I look in my rearview mirror, I see a Tesla, even though it's not a Tesla. Like, I just want to see Teslas everywhere. I just want my Model 3, so I don't give a damn anymore. Because I'm like, oh, that person has a Model 3, that's cool. Oh, that person has a Model S. Or, I don't really freak out that much when I see an X. And I see Model S's all the time. And, it's mainly when I see a Model 3 that I freak out. I'm like, holy crap. Because I still don't see those that often. I actually saw 2 the other day, but, like, for some reason I don't see them every day. And I'm actually kind of always looking out for those. I really wish I had autopilot right now because my body is really itchy and I'm not, none of my hands are on the steering wheel right now. And, well, I mean, we were going straight, so that's fine, but Model 3. Autopilot would be such a convenient feature for me to have, to be able to not drive, but also drive and do podcasts. And also the car would be more quiet and podcasting might sound better. I don't know how these sound. Quite yet, at least. Not yet. Wow, I'm actually getting home relatively quickly. Which is like a first for a Tuesday, me leaving at 6 p.m. I've been recording for 39 minutes, but I've been driving for, I want to say like 48 minutes. It's 6:48 right now. I do want to say I think I left at 6:02 actually. Definitely right after 6:01. I might have left just at 6:02. I'm not sure. You guys are wondering why I'm like so picky and like why I'm so exact about some things. That's just like how I am. I might not be a perfectionist in the work I do because that takes like a bit more effort to do that. But just like trivial day-to-day things with numbers, I don't know why. Like, even though when I like do a lot of multiplication in my head, I do a lot of rounding and estimations simply because that's just easier. Oh, did my phone stop charging? Oh, that's fine. It's like beyond 70% from the looks of it. I drained my phone battery today. I used it for like non-stop, and then I was using it on like max brightness because I was outdoors a lot and I was watching videos with it. But like using a hotspot kills your battery. I think I killed like 25% in like 2 hours or something. And then some more later. Yeah. I don't really know what else there is to say about the iPad. I mean, I'll just unbox it and talk about it next week. And I mean, yeah, I'm probably going to get the smart keyboard with it, but this time around, I'm not gonna keep both the smart keyboard and the smart folio. I'm gonna stick to one or the other. Or of course, if the smart cover works and I prefer that, then I would just go with that. But I don't know. Knowing me, I always like getting new technology things, even if it's something as simple as like a case. Hell, it might even be the same case, but if it's like not scratched up or whatever, then you know, I like that shit. I enjoy that shit. Holy shit, that car just like violently merged into the right lane. Sorry if you heard me scratch right there, or itch. I am very itchy right now, all across my head. There was a spider on me earlier today. Don't let me not get in this lane. Oh. Can I switch lanes, my dude? Oh, not yet? Not yet? Still not yet? Wow. Everyone is bumper to bumper like never before. That's 7 cars. Hey, the car behind me is like extremely on me as well. Like, leave me be, please. Oh, now you're following me. Is this gonna be like last Friday? Where that lady like kind of chased me? Actually, she chased me and I have no idea what I even did because I was like driving extremely calmly and cautiously and whatnot. Yeah, you take that exit, you dirty slut. I have my fun, guys. My fun is calling random people dirty sluts. That's how life be. That's how life be. No wireless charging, of course, because the back of the iPad Pro is aluminum, not glass. I wouldn't expect them to put glass. I was half expecting OLED, but also not, because that would also be super expensive for them. And also, OLED is not a good idea to put on an iPad. At least not the Pro, because the Pro is kind of like targeted towards people who want to like edit photos as well. I mean, that's what the Pro is, professional, you know? And it's bad to have an OLED like look at one still image for a long time, because burn-in, you don't want burn-in. Burn-in is bad. So yeah, yeah. But given that I primarily use my iPad for, I don't want to say primarily for video, because actually my iPad is like 50-50. Just, it depends on the day. Some days it's more like 80-20 or 90-10, 70-30, one or the other, between video and taking notes. And by video, I mean watching videos, not like video editing or anything of that sort. Oh, don't cut in front of me. You're not gonna drive fast. No one accelerates like as quickly as I do. I mean, there are people who do that. I just never end up having them in front of me. Like, I think I had one in the last like 17 months, 18 months to be in front of me. And that was like very recent too. So yeah, I can't remember like beyond that. Holy shit, that van is making that turn, that curve really fast. Oh, I'm pretty much home. Just so you guys know. And of course the car in front of me does not go fast. Couldn't prove me wrong, universe. You didn't want to, so you didn't do it. Of course not. Why would you, universe? You don't like me. I'm kidding, the universe loves me. So yeah, next week I'll do like a vlog, grabbing the iPad Pro and whatnot, running with it, doing iPad Pro things, unboxing it and whatnot. I might not do that because I am me. I never do what I say I'm gonna do. In regards to video, of course, I do things I say I'm gonna do. They're not video related. That's how it works. Ah, my car doesn't have the hold feature that Model 3 does. I'd have to use my electronic parking brake. It doesn't even have the manual ones. It has to be electronic. Why? Hold is such a cool feature. You put your foot down on the brake all the way, and then the car holds the brake there. That's cool. Come on, let's go. Why am I behind the slowest car? Why is that SUV going faster than all these other cars? Come on. Let's race a little. We can't. The light turned red. That's unfortunate. Oh, actually, what I can do is come one lane over. That light is gonna turn red, and ours is gonna turn green. And I can absolutely floor it. 36, 42, 50. I'm going uphill, mind you. 60. That took forever. I need to use the Model 3 on this hill and just absolutely book it. I have to know how fast the Model 3 can go up this hill, 0 to 60. At the worst case, it's gonna do like 4 seconds, I'm assuming. Maybe 4.5, but it's probably still gonna be like really close to 3.3, 3.5. Like, it wouldn't be that much slower. That's that instant torque for you. My car, nope, it's just a 2.5 liter engine, and yeah. I do know from the bottom of the hill to the top, my Mercedes can get up to 110. This car gets up to, I think, 80 before I start like letting go of the accelerator, the gas pedal. I keep saying acceleration pedal or accelerator because I just want my Model 3. You guys are like, fucking buy it already if you can. And I'm like, yeah, okay. And then I do end up getting it, and then I don't know what I get next. I mean, hopefully the iPad keeps me calm for a while. And you know what I'm going to do on that iPad? I'm going to watch a whole bunch of Model 3 videos. But until then, I'm going to watch a whole bunch of iPad videos, because that shit's going to keep me, like, high for a while. Or something. So yeah, hopefully you guys enjoy this. If you did, be sure to like the button down below and subscribe to see more. I'll see you guys later.